And now we're on to part two. Welcome back. Random Andrew. Jake's upstairs eating cereal. He'll be down. We are tackling the rest of this job the next day. We did do a little test strip just to see the difference in oil and plugs and show Jacob the benefit behind keeping these things up to date. I did fall a little behind between my last oil change and spark plugs, so yeah, I think it made a bit of a difference. I felt it, but I noticed some fluid drips going out of the laneway and coming into the laneway. Everything with the oil is fine, so I'm thinking we had some residual fluid sitting down on this stuff down in here that just kind of dripped off. I'm also going to try loosening the banjo bolts, crank the wheel left, right, get rid of excess oil like the instructions said to do. I didn't feel it was necessary, so I guess it kind of was. And maybe there was some pressuring out of the lines somewhere. And if that's the case, well, it's just a small set of lines to go from that spot on the rack down along the top of it, does its thing, and then has a return line. And that part shouldn't be too bad. So right now I've unbolted, you can see that bracket down there. This is a bracket that holds this loop of lines. Oh, can you even see with my big arm in the way? This is just a loop of lines that came from where the banjo bolts are attached and goes into the pump. So I'm going to unbolt it from the pump, and this whole thing will come right out, hopefully. Alright, so there it is, and actually from looking at it from above, it would sit like this, just in front of the power steering rack itself. One end plugs into your electric power steering, and the other goes up to the banjo bolts for input to the, or maybe output from the actual rack itself. So now that's out of the way, I'm able to get at a few of the bolts for the pump, which is actually getting very difficult to remove. There's a rack for the pump with rubber grommets, rubber bushing things they screw into, and you try and undo it, they just spring back. So I got most of them, but one's getting cut. Alright, there you go. There's your power steering pump. Nasty dirty. Before anybody goes and states the obvious, yes, it's dirty. It's the underside of a car. But this here is the guy that won't loosen, so when you go like this, you can tell it's not all the way through. So I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to cut it right about the middle, right down there. Just using a knife, because it's just rubber, and then that pump will come out. But this is that stupid rack I was telling you about, which you can't take out because two bolts are underneath the power steering pump. Come on, BMW, what were you thinking? Engineers need kicks in the somethings. Well, folks, if there's ever a drought, if you ever need a lot of rain, give me a call. I'll work on my car. Yeah, so the windows were down, the battery's out, electric windows, and they're using a defunct air mattress right now over the car to keep the rain out of the windows. Yeah, so it's coming down pretty good right now. It says it'll be done by 5, so all we can do is wait. Well, folks, long story short, I win. That's right, it's out. That's your power steering pump on your Mini Cooper. And it does still work and everything, but it stays on when the key's off. It gets really hot because the fan, this fan, never keeps working. You know, like, I do not like how they did the power steering one bit on Mini Cooper. And I would rather live with Armstrong non-power steering life than deal with the problems this thing is causing me. That's right. Here is a lovely space. The power steering once called home, but as you can see, the power steering has left the conversation. Now, okay, go ahead, say what you will, because, well, honestly, it doesn't really matter. You're not here to help me do it the right way if you're going to complain. So, these tabs belong up here. With them in the way, I couldn't get the power steering pump out this way, that way, anyway, doesn't matter, it wasn't coming out. Being that I have no plans on putting it back in again, eventually this is going to have a completely different motor in it anyways, probably Cooper S, which, I mean, from this aspect, a lot of that will look the same, but the transmission will be different. This is the CVT transmission. You can see that guy right up here. It says Gutrag CVT or something like that on the tag. I suppose it don't really mean much nowadays. There you go. And you know, it's a little bit extra weight out if you really care about a lot of that stuff. And as I said, or may not have said, when we took this for just a little test spin last night around the block, I did notice some oil drippage in and out of the laneway, and that does not sit comfortable with me. So we're going to do that bit with taking any excess fluid out of the power steering rack and see how that goes. Maybe there was too much pressure with excess fluid and I may have popped one of the lines that sit up on top. You can see them running along the top side of the power steering rack, and I wasn't sure what to do with the wires that plug into your whole power steering unit. They don't have any power to them anymore. The one might be a signal wire or something. Either way, they're not hooked up anymore, so I just zip tied them to those lines. They aren't going to bounce enough to hurt the lines, I hope. And those lines are going to end up having to be replaced anyway, so if I can get those off Rock Auto, I'll show you these two right here, and it's just a set that goes down to the other end. Down here, they do their thing down there, and then it's a return line, right? So I could replace those pretty easily without having to remove the rack. The rack itself is in rough shape, but you know, if we ever do a motor swap, then that'd be a good thing to change right then and there. So these, oh yeah, hands in the way. Hang on, let me see how I can do this. Right here, that is the part from Condor Speed Performance. And I'm gonna just loosen those off, lift the other wheel off the ground so we can turn them easy and do that. But otherwise, there's your power steering delete from the Mini Cooper R50. And if you didn't hear it in the first video, I'm really kind of trying to think of a solution for this because I'm getting 45 plus Celsius degree temperatures into my motor, and that really doesn't like it. Thinking battery relocation, 3D print a standalone box for the computer that it still, you know, does what it's supposed to do, stays nice and solid mounted, and the wires still reach, because dang, they don't give you much room to work with as far as your ECU harnesses. But I mean, they're right here, right accessible. You don't have to go up under the dash of the car to get at them. It's kind of nice that way. There's that tag I was mentioning for the transmission. Unfortunately, from what I've found out, that transmission can't take much more than 150 horse, and that's okay, because I'm not sure I'm even making much more than 90 to 100 horse out of this motor. There's things you can do, like put a better motor in. Okay, it is now the next day. Driving down the highway. Jake's getting some wheel time in. And as you can see, things are running, things are fixed. Notable difference in the pickup, especially towards higher RPM now. The plugs have got nice new good NGK plugs in. Oil has been changed, help them oil, plugs and oil. And the power steering, final verdict. The final verdict will be a year from now when I could arm wrestle Sylvester Stallone. Seriously, like without power steering, manual steering in a Cooper, you'd think it'd be a little lighter, but no, motor's right over top of your front wheels, so. But it's not bad. Highway driving feels so much smoother. Maybe that's just a preference for me with manual steering. What do you think about it right now? You had to turn it in the parking lot.
Yeah, it was interesting. We're coming up on a bend now, so I'll feel what that's like.
Yeah, low speeds, it's a two-arm crank thing rather than palming the wheel, right? But puts you more in touch with the road. And look, think all that weight I saved, like that's got to be worth 30 horsepower in the Honda world. No offense, Honda guys, you get the joke. I think I'm gonna take a liking to manual steering. Thanks for watching, guys. Yeah, it's not bad. Thanks for watching, folks. Don't forget, do all those things. Click the like button. Make sure you got your notifications turned on. Because 1,600 some odd subscribers, but I only get very small amount of views. But we're gonna find some more interesting content for you to get subscribed to. I see what I did there. Talk to you guys soon. Have a great one.